What's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to the Financial Chapter. We are now at 50 subscribers. Yeah, we are not quite at 50,000 subscribers just yet. I did say that in my first video. We just have 49,950,000 subscribers left to go. 49,000, no, 50. But thank you guys so much. I do appreciate all of the support that I've been getting on the channel. Okay, so let's just get straight into it. A recent CNBC article from earlier this year said that only 41% of Americans would be able to cover a $1,000 emergency with their savings. And that's kind of crazy because almost 60% of Americans would be struggling to find $1,000 in an emergency. So at the end of the day, it's really up to us to learn about our finances and do the best that we can with the income that we have. So based off of personal experience, here are 12 tips and tricks on how to save more money even with the low income. And by the way, this video is for entertainment purposes only. You should always do your own research. Number 1, set financial goals. Write down your goals and look at them every day. Do it right after you wake up in the morning and then do it again right before you go to bed. Subconsciously, your mind is now working towards that goal. Now, doing this isn't exclusive to just making money. It's always good to have some sort of vision or where you want to be or what you want to do and have focus. With respect to your finances, you can set goals for where you want to be in 1 year, 5 years, or even 10 years. Do you want to travel once or twice a year? Do you want to be a millionaire? Do you want to hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm? Even in the short term, it could be as simple as determining how much you want to save each month. But more important, you have to be realistic with your numbers, and then you can increase it over time. Now, number 2 on this list would be budgeting. Track your expenses. It's important to know where your money is going every month. This is actually the easiest step, but people still don't do it. Sometimes it's the small expenses that build up and eat away at your monthly income. Imagine buying lunch every week. That's $14 a day. Just 1 week would total $70. And an entire month would total $280 of just food. So just write down your expenses and your total income on a monthly basis, just to see where your money is coming in and where it's coming out. Like I've said in my previous videos, Mint is a great budgeting app. And no, I am not sponsored by Mint. It's just pretty effective. I've personally created spending limits on Mint for eating out at restaurants and going shopping. So Mint alerts me each time I'm approaching my budget or if I actually go over the budget. But long story short, if you don't know where your money is going, you got a problem, my guy. Be your own personal accountant. Now, tip number 3 is to pay yourself first. And by that, I mean to automate your savings and your investments. Now, this was a major key for me and arguably the most important step I took in saving more money. So what I did was set up automatic withdrawals from my primary bank account to various savings and investment accounts. Then I lived off the remaining amount of money that was left in the account. So in a way, I acted like I never had that initial money that I put into the saving and investment accounts to begin with. For example, you have money that flows into your primary bank account. This is normally your check, your paycheck that you get from your job. Your primary bank account is almost like your control center. It's your base. Now let's say you get paid $3,000 a month. I am not saying that you actually make $3,000, so don't come into the comments talking about,
"Oh my gosh, what are you talking about? That's ridiculous. I would never have that much money," or "That's so little bit of money. Like, where would you even get $3,000 from? I'm such a big baller. I make like 10K a month. Stop it. You're ridiculous. You're a clown. Get out of here, fool." Blah, dislike, unsub, goodbye.
This is just an example. So after the $3,000 comes into the primary bank account, you then distribute a percentage of that amount with automatic withdrawals into your savings and investment account. So in this example, let's just say that you decided to distribute 30% of your money into savings and investment accounts. That would be $900. So that 30% goes directly into your savings and investment accounts such as 401ks, IRAs, a high yield savings account, and maybe even a brokerage account such as Robinhood. By the way, if you want to start investing in Robinhood, I left a link in the description below where you would get a free stock and I get a free stock. Let's get it. Now the remaining 70% of your monthly income would then go to your living costs such as rent, food, health expenses, things like that. Now those two things are very important because you need to make sure that you have a right balance as to how much you're going to be saving versus how much you need for your living costs. And that's why budgeting is so important. For me, I found that the best day to schedule automatic withdrawals would be the same day that you actually get paid. The moment your paycheck is put into your primary bank account, your automatic withdrawals come out. Then you'll be left with the remaining amount of money to live off of. You're basically tricking yourself into thinking that you only make 70% of your actual monthly income. So in other words, instead of thinking that you make $3,000 a month, your mind is now thinking that you only make $2,100 a month. Now tip number 4 would be automate your bills. By doing so, you no longer have to worry about these expenses in the middle of the month. You would already know that everything has been paid for and that the money that's left in your account is all yours. Now, I personally think that it's a good idea to schedule your bills and expenses during the first week of the month. The reason is, if you're getting paid bi-weekly and all of your expenses are taken out during the first week of the month, your second paycheck is going to look really good. Now, number 5 would be to focus on becoming a financial minimalist, or just try not to spend a lot of money. What I'm basically trying to say in this tip is don't keep up with the Kardashians. You do not need to stunt on everybody. Unless they keep playing with you out here. Then you can stunt on them. I let go of luxury brands a few years ago. Yes, I have my occasional buys, who doesn't? But almost everyone knows that I mainly wear plain tees from Uniqlo and some Adidas track pants. I knew I was done with luxury brands since 2016 when I bought some sneakers on Amazon for $35. And I still wear them to this day. To this day! Another way to reduce your spending is to cut back on restaurants. And if you do go to a restaurant, drink water, because drinks do add up. Now, tip number 6 would be to separate your bank accounts. I personally do this because when your money is in one place, things start to get a little fuzzy, especially when you start using your debit card. In addition, people tend to feel better spending when they see large amounts of money in their bank account. So to remedy this situation, I usually split my money into 3 different bank accounts. I have my primary bank account, which we spoke about earlier. Then I have a daily expenses account. This account is connected to a debit card that's limited to between $200 and $300 each paycheck. And finally, I have my high yield savings account, which can also function as an emergency fund. Now, these 3 options are just how I separate my money. You can figure out ways to separate money that fits your type of spending style. Now, speaking of cards, tip number 7 would be to maximize your credit cards. First and foremost, pay off your credit cards each month. If there's money that's left over on your credit card in the next month, the bank is winning because interest is going to continue to rack up. You also want to take advantage of credit card reward points. These reward points can pay your bills, they can pay travel expenses, or they could even just give cash back. I've used my credit card reward points on 2 separate occasions where it's paid for my flights round trip twice. I think I might end up making a video on some of my favorite credit cards to own, so stay tuned for that. Now, number 8 would be to delay large purchases. When I'm getting ready to buy something, I usually bookmark it or I put it down, then let it marinate for like a day or 2, or a month. Doing so really helps cut down on impulse purchases when you buy things without really thinking about it. So now that I've taken a breather and look back at what I wanted to buy, I'll now have a clear head and then I'll decide whether I really do want it or not. Now, tip number 9 would be to do it yourself. There's a lot of things that we end up paying for that we could actually just do on our own. A great place to learn how to do things would be on YouTube. There's tons of YouTube tutorials that... What? YouTube tutorials? There's tons of YouTube tutorials that can teach you how to do certain things, such as fixing a headlight on your car. Instead of getting charged $50 by a mechanic to install headlights on your car, just look it up first. And that way you just kept $50 in your pocket. Same thing could apply to cutting your hair or doing your nails. I mean, we all know how that turned out for me. But always keep in mind, in certain situations, it's better to have someone do it for you. So this is something that you got to play with. Now, tip number 10 would be to think about the future value of the money that you are about to spend. As I repeat over and over again in all of my videos, when you save and invest your money, it will grow over time. So instead of spending $1,000 on the iPhone 12 this summer, take that $1,000 and invest it. I'm still working with an iPhone 7. Over the next 30 years, if we use the historical average annual return of the stock market adjusted for inflation, that $1,000 would be worth $7,612 in future value. Now, tip number 11 is to create a side hustle. It's extra money added to your income that will help pay your expenses, which then leaves more money for you to invest and save. So consider having a side hustle, whether that be creating a YouTube or even starting a podcast. You could even purchase your own vending machine and start generating income that way. And finally, tip number 12 would be to treat yourself. It's always good to have a little money set aside where you could just treat yourself for working so hard. So these are my tips for saving money. I believe that if you're consistent with these money saving strategies, that there's potential to save a lot of money. You won't even notice how much money you've been stacking until you actually look at your bank account. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash the like button or gently tap it. It's your call. But it takes forever to edit these videos, so I'd really appreciate it. Leave a comment and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next video.